afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Topic Time in Summer of 2022. Yes, we have made it to the summer solstice, and yet I have another awesome Zoom show tonight to New York. I'm interviewing a lovely comedian, actress, and she's done theater, she's done film. We're going to talk to her. We may look at a little of her material from the Broadway Comedy Club about halfway through the show. But before we get to her, I got to read these awesome underwriters. Don't have a lot, but they're all great, so we read them off. So we got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We got Something for Your Dust, Antiques and Curios in Plymouth. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got good old Dave's Automotive right here on Route 58 in Hanson. Although this is Carver, not Hanson, but it's on Route 58. We got Pacini's Pizza in Middleborough. They deliver. We got Maggie's Cuts in Kingston. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got Ocean Street Auto Repair and Service in Marshfield. We got the Gunrunner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights with customers or friends. And we got DNS Auto Works in Abington. And I want to thank you guys very much. And now I will officially introduce Ms. Kathleen Wills. Thank you for doing my show. We've been trying to get you on for a while. Thanks to Zoom. We can do it. I know you're in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, you just said.
Yes, I am.
Quite a pad you have there, Kathleen.
Why, thank you. I'm glad to be here, actually.
Yeah, I'm glad you. That's sweet. Okay. Yeah, it looks very fancy. It looks like you got one of those 9-foot tall curtains behind you.
I do.
Wow. Well, the tallest curtain in my house is about 6 feet tall. So I still got a ways to go to catch up. So,
okay.
Never compared curtains before, but why not? Even my shower curtain isn't that tall. Okay. All right. Well, Kathleen, what I do with every guest, whether they're with me or at their own location, is I just try to I start by trying to find out, profiling you, what you were like as a kid, how it got you where you're at now. You seem pretty dedicated. You look like a true professional, what you do. So tell me about, as a young girl, obviously you're not too old. You look pretty, you look still fairly young. Let's talk about that. What did you do as a child? What did you aspire to? I'll institute questions as I see fit while you discuss that, and then we'll bring it forward to the current day and talk more about what you're doing now. So go ahead.
Thank you, Harrison. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. This is wonderful. I just to start, I guess I can tell you that as a young girl, I did always have aspirations to become an actor. Probably started in 4th grade.
Okay. Did you grow up in New York?
I did grow up in New York, but I was not born in New York. To be quite honest, I was born and raised till I was about in my teens in New Jersey, in Morris County.
Okay, I can't hear a dialect there, but okay, if you say so.
Yeah, so sometimes I don't really share that because I feel like I'm such a New Yorker, but I have nothing to hide. So
good. No, you sure don't. Okay.
Yeah. So I've traveled a lot, and I've to Europe, to Italy, to England. I studied the British stage in college. I went on
Where'd you go to college?
Keene. So then I went to Keene College University.
New Hampshire?
No, in New Jersey.
Okay, because there's a Keene, New Hampshire. That's the first thing I think of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one is in Union, New Jersey.
Got it. I know Union, New Jersey. I've been there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, so from there I went.
All right, hold on. Let's go back to the 4th grade. You started in 4th. All right, I guess we jumped ahead a little bit, but that's okay. We can go back and forth.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So for me, it started in 4th grade. I got introduced, but to be honest with you, I really didn't get the encouragement enough to really fulfill my inner, dream of becoming an actor until I hit college. So I was in college when I got bit by the bug, and I really wanted to become an actor. I went to Keene to study teaching and tried out for 12th Night. And then I was cast right away as Viola, my first leading role in a Shakespearean play, right out of the gate. And I never looked back. It was just one after the other. And I just loved it. And I just said, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And that was it. There was no plan B for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I want to backtrack a little bit though. So what happened? You said you started. What did you do in 4th grade? Because I really like to look, I really like to observe a connection between you as a child and you as what you did in college and today. So did you do a little acting in 4th grade at a play or something at school?
Right. So that's where it started. So getting back to that, I started in 4th grade because I was in my first play, Peter Pan.
Oh, so okay. Are you Wendy?
I was this is what happened. I was understudy for Wendy, but I
Okay.
ended up being Wendy's mother. So I had to play
Okay.
like an older, her older woman.
I
So
didn't even know Wendy's mother was in that show. Okay, but if you say so, I haven't seen it in a while.
it was, it was the mother. I remember the teacher came up to me, Mrs. Caruth was her name. She was one of my best teachers ever. You know, you never forget your childhood, fourth grade, third grade, fourth grade school teachers.
I know, I agree. I've had some great teachers in my younger years in school too.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
remember her, she planted the seed. I'll give her, that's the credit for her 100% because she planted the seed in me. She said, there was one other very, very good, actor in my class, and she got the role of Wendy, but she said, I want you to be the mother. She says, I see something in you. I want you to play the mother. And then I want you to be the understudy for Wendy, because you can do Wendy for sure, but I want to see you do the older woman. And so she said, you have a lot of talent. When it was over, when it was completed, she said, this is something you should do. And I was like, what? Really?
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I brought up the fourth grade again, because it sounds to me like she really lit a fire under you, but it took several years for it to really ignite, because you obviously, well, that's awesome. So what did you do between fourth grade and college? Obviously you had a reawakening when you got to college, but did you do anything in terms of acting in between those years, or anything like in any entertainment at all, in any form of entertainment?
Sure. I feel comfortable enough. I'll share this with you. So I tried to keep the light lit. And you do it in so many other ways that you think you can. I didn't have enough courage to really pursue, but I did do one thing. I did learn how to sing and dance.
Okay.
And then I went to these nursing homes, and I introduced myself to the directors, and I said, I want to come in and make people happy. Can I come in and do shows for your clients, for your people that are living, the residents, that's the word, residents that are living there. Can I come in and do a show once a week? And they said yes. So I did that.
How many nursing homes did you do this with? Just one or several?
I recall one. It could have been a couple, but I recall one that I did it with.
That was in New Jersey also?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'm sure the residents loved you there. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you perform? Now, when you perform this stuff, did you do it by yourself, or did you have an ensemble with you?
It was a one-woman show, the whole thing.
Your own ensemble. That's great.
Yeah.
How often did you do this often? I mean, did you do it regularly?
I did it for a little while, and then I said, a little, maybe not long, because then I said, I built up enough courage that when I went to school, then I started to look into it and to study it. That's when I auditioned, and I got the role of Viola. But
that was in college when you did the Shakespeare play?
Yeah, but just to give you a little bit of a backtrack there, I did go to Community College of Morris. That's a 2-year program.
Morris, New Jersey. I know it. Yep.
Yeah, community, and I did get the role. I did Ebenezer. I did Ebenezer Scrooge, Christmas Carol.
Okay.
I was the lost love. So that was
Scrooge. I see. I was always wondering about that. I was wondering if Scrooge had a lady friend for himself, and I figured if he's so angry all the time and grouchy, maybe he needs one. I know the feeling, believe me.
I think he was grouchy because he lost the love. And
See, we don't see that right away. I think all we see is a cranky old guy who doesn't care about the holidays. I didn't know anything. And I guess the Christmas past might bring this. Now you come in on the Christmas past scene, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that play too, but I know, I know the basic fundamentals of it. I know he's a kind of a curmudgeon type old guy. And then he something converts him. And if a beautiful lady like you came in and told me I was, life was great, let me join you, I'd say, hey, I feel a lot nicer than I did when the play started, if I was playing Scrooge. So that must have been awesome.
Thank you. It was fun.
That was at college. That was your second college, the one at Keene, right?
No, that was community college.
That was the first one. All right. So, all right, now let's move it on a little past. What did you do after college? You said after you graduated from Keene. How did you move yourself into other things?
Right. So it was Peter Pan, Scrooge, and then 12th Night, Helen Keller, a couple of others that I did at Keene, and then transferring out of college into now you want to find out what I did in the beginning of my career. Right. Okay. So after coming back from England, I came right to New York, and I hit the ground running, and I literally just nonstop work in any way that I could to survive. And to survive for a couple of months or the first year. But then I believe it was maybe the end of the first year that I moved in here, I got involved with a theater company called Drama Committee Repertory Theater. And that is where I booked my first roles in off Broadway plays.
Okay. And how long ago was this?
So this was when I first moved in, and we're going back a ways. Do you want the dates? Do you want
Well, if you want to give them, that's fine. Sure.
I don't want to give the year.
If you don't, that's fine too. It's up to you.
We're going back a long time ago.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
why now you traveled to Europe too, you said. Did you work over there? Did you do any entertaining over there, acting or whatnot?
I tried. It was hard. They
In England or Italy or wherever you went?
yeah, I was in England. Well, I was in England on a student exchange program, which
Okay.
I failed immensely. I didn't go to classes. What I did when I went over there was go to as many shows as I could see, fringe theater, and all this other stuff.
See what their theater was like.
And that actually I can give you a marker of the date. I was over there when the Globe was the original Globe was being torn down. They were rebuilding the new one that's there today. So
What is
there's
that, one of the major theaters in England, in London?
Shakespeare. Yeah, the Globe. Back then I was obsessed with Shakespeare. So I was
Okay.
like, oh, the Globe, this is the actual Globe. And I wanted to jump over the construction site and get in there. And I'm peeking in through I just remember peeking in through the barriers, and I'm looking and I'm like, that's where the Globe used to stand, when Shakespeare did his shows. So I was really into it, very
Oh,
much.
okay. That's interesting. That's a historical site then, a historical
Correct, yeah.
landmark. That's where Shakespeare used to actually perform.
It's called the
in the
Globe. Yeah.
In the
to my
1600s
understanding.
when he lived, I guess, or the 1500s, whenever he lived. Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So you
Yeah.
became part of history in your own right, in
Yeah.
theatrical history.
Yeah. For me, I was trying to very hard. I was there to absorb the culture. I was doing a paper on the British stage versus the American stage. I was just trying to get a little bit of a insight as to how they performed and get as much, absorb as much as I could. And I worked over there under the table, and then I
Okay.
got
Does
a
that
ticket.
mean, does that have something to do with waitressing? I couldn't help
It
wondering
did.
about. Ah,
No, it,
okay.
yeah.
Did you
And
wipe the top of the tables too, or just under them?
It was my last, well, see, it was very hard. I'm going to share this because I don't think you can do this today. I was over there and I didn't have enough money to get back home. So
Okay.
I was crazy. I bought a one-way ticket and I said, I'm going to work and I'm going to find a way back home if it's meant to be. So my last restaurant I went to, they were all shutting the door in my face. We don't want anything. No papers, no work, no papers, no work. One restaurant said, okay, we'll let you work here. I ended up working there, had a blast working at this
This is England,
restaurant.
you mean?
In England. Well, it was
Wow.
called in Kingston upon Thames, which is
Okay.
south of England. And I worked there and I lived there and I worked there and I went to theater there and I absorbed the country. I mean, I absorbed the theater as much as I could. And then I saved up enough to get a ticket back to New York
Okay.
and brought all my experiences with me. So
Cool.
yeah, it was great fun. It was incredible. It was incredible, actually. I learned a great deal about British theater and
Wow.
the stage, the theater that they, I mean, I don't want to get into it now, but I just learned so much in terms of how their approaches, because back, our approach, we have the method, we have the Marlon Brando, and we have all of this, the naturalism. But back then, their approach was much more, structure is not the right word, but their approach was much more, it wasn't naturalistic, but it was so incredible. And my goal in the back of my mind, my entire life was to sort of blend the two, approaches to theater, from the British perspective and then the American perspective, and how you can be very natural, but yet be very structure in your approach to how you do things. It's because everything about their acting was so spot on. It was so spot on. And then here we are on stage being so naturalistic and just like you're sitting in your living room and you're actually in your living room and you're watching actors so relaxed up on stage. But over there, I was trying to compare the two. That was my goal, to come back with some insight, for my
Okay.
future.
That's awesome. So I'm glad I asked about England. Now, we're about halfway through the show, and what we're going to do is we're going to look at a little clip of your performance the comedy showcase, or the Broadway showcase, Broadway comedy showcase or something in Manhattan? Is that what it is?
The Broadway Comedy Club.
Broadway Comedy Club. Okay. We're going to highlight that. We're going to look at, it's already highlighted. We're going to look at a little clip from that, and then we're going to come right back. So folks watching, watch the clip of Kathleen doing a stand-up. We'll come back and we're going to talk about it.
Coming to the stage next. I know you guys are really excited. It's my girl, Catherine Wills. Everybody, make some noise. You see her at Gotham Comedy Club. Keep it going, keep it going.
So I just came from a funeral. Yeah, but it's okay. No, it's okay. It was Irish. It was an Irish funeral. Everybody was happy, drunk, kind of like half the room here tonight. But anyway, no. So I have this obsession with Jewish men. Right? I know. Why? Right? Maybe it's because I find it interesting to know that their mothers fucked them up more than my mother fucked me up. Yeah. I also find it interesting to know that with a Jewish man, I am always involved in a third-party relationship. Me, the Jewish man, and his mother. She could be dead and buried, but the nagging is still going to continue, you know?
Oh, that was great. Tell me about what we just watched.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of fun. I had a blast doing that. I had a lot of friends in the audience. They were cheering me on, and they, I don't know, I was in an area back then where I was trying all different types of comedy, you know, but I think now it's a little bit different. It's funny because as I guess a comedian or a comedian wannabe, as I call myself, I wouldn't consider myself a comedian like 100%. I can consider myself an actor more because that's where my training is. Doing that up there, it was so much fun because hearing the laugh, it's the immediate response and the gratification of knowing that you made somebody laugh off of something that you wrote, which I did. It made me feel like really, really.
Cloud nine, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid for it, even better.
Exactly. That always
Exactly.
helps.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So now what I want to find out from you is we're going forward. How did you incorporate all your acting and theater into stand-up comedy, and then what did you do for films as well? So talk about that.
So as I progressed in my career, as I spent many years here in New York, working day jobs, working night jobs, and doing theater, I came to a point where I just couldn't do theater any longer. I think we all know how hard that is because of the lack of money that's involved. So I segued into film and TV. And that's when I started booking roles and getting paid, and it felt really good. Doing short films, doing full feature films. Recently, I've been doing TV series and web series. And
Can you talk a little? Can you be more elaborate about the films and the series you're doing?
Sure.
Can you tell me about? I mean, is it something we could have watched on TV or in the film or in the theater?
Well, the most recent one that's coming out is called Crash the System. Kamal is the creator of that. Kamal Ahmed. He is the one that he was a Jerky Boy. I don't know if you know who he is, but he very, very funny guy. He is the one that created that. I played a role in that, Laura, a role in that, and that had a few episodes in there, which was a lot of fun. It was great work. I loved working on that. And then prior to that, there was a web series called Dead to Right that I played a Detective White. I did a few episodes on that, which I really
see you being a hot detective.
That's my goal. I really feel comfortable in that type of role, to be honest with you.
Okay, yeah. Tell me about the stand-up that you base your material on your own life. Is that it? You obviously have quite a plate there, a lot on it. I mean,
yeah. So a few years back, I did a one-woman show called Law. Sorry, I have it right here because I get so.
Okay.
It's really quick. Yeah, it's Love Without Law. And from that, I started to find funny moments, and that's what segued me into doing stand-up. And I started doing stand-up probably around 2018. I just started getting out in the circuit, just throwing myself in the ring and just having a blast. I wrote everything. I took a class with Andy Engel and Karen, who taught me my first how to shape the script. And then from there, went to Gotham Comedy, did like an amateur little show there. And then from there, started trying to network out and start doing my own stand-up shows that I wrote, which is a lot of fun that I enjoyed. So
that's awesome. Okay, so so now you're as multifaceted as ever. You can sing, you can dance, you can do theater, you can do stand-up, you can travel. Obviously, you've done that. You've left your mark in different ports of call, which is awesome, obviously too. And so what's up? What are you currently working on?
So currently I have a script and it's called Italian Hospitality. I did it as a short play.
Did you write it yourself?
I wrote it myself. It's a 3-person.
screenwriting too.
I'm a writer.
Excellent.
Right. I do it all, but I learned how to pivot. And I think pivoting is part of how you can stay very successful in this business. You know,
Okay.
and when I wasn't getting the work that I wanted, I said, I'm going to write my own. But to make a long story short, just to answer your question, Italian Hospitality, I really want to make it into a film. It will be my first film credit though, that I produced, wrote, and direct, and acted in. Looking for collaborators, always to find the right people. I've gotten a lot of good advice, looking for capital, looking for funding, but I want a good director, somebody who can help, and a choreographer, not a choreographer, a cinematographer, somebody who can really help me in the first steps. I mean, in my first baby steps of creating my first film called Italian Hospitality. So
That's awesome.
that's my plate now.
Now,
Yeah.
how far, as far as getting people involved, do you have, I mean, what are you doing? Like a GoFundMe or any of that stuff? Or do you have people that are already in you? I noticed when you did your plug to appear on my show, you get quite a few, you got a lot of great feedback. So I'm assuming that you have some people already working with you, right? Or is that still on the horizon right now for you? Which is it?
So I currently have about a handful of people, and I know a lot of people, but a handful of people that I keep, that I'm not going to say right now because I keep them close to my chest. I don't
Okay,
like
I understand.
do
That's fine.
the reveal with my deck, but I have them close to my chest because I know that when the timing is right and I have something substantial to offer, I'm gonna reach out to them. I always have at least a handful of people that I know that I've worked with and that I collaborate with in the past that I always keep in touch with because I just know that they're very talented. But I'm open right now to opening up to new collaborators because after COVID, to be honest with you, I found a lot of people I lost a few people that were in my fold. I don't know, my deck that I kept, a few people
Sorry to hear
that
that. I know it was a tough time, obviously.
people they
Wow.
left New York or they just unfortunately they passed. So I lost a few people. So I know that now I'm open. Like I want to kind of fresh. 2022 for me is opening up like a new, fresh. I want fresh perspective right now. That's what I'm looking for from people that I haven't worked before, because I'm in a place in my life now as an artist that I'm grounded in my personal life, financial life there. So I can make some moves that I wasn't able to make when I was younger,
Right.
So
So you've parlayed your work into a lot of different things, and now basically you have the world in the palm of your hand. You just have to roll it right.
yeah, now it's about making the right moves at the right time. Exactly. And it's challenging. And some days I'm like, I'm not doing enough. And some days I'm like, well, I can't rush it. And some days I'm like, well, I'm rushing too much. But you know what it is? It's every day I just have to get up and do something towards the goal. Something. And then I know that it will eventually, come to fruition. Because my light is there. It's bright and strong. It took years to really grow. It started in fourth grade, very small, and then it kind of, flickered a bit during the years, but now it's raging. I just need it to come out on the right platform in front of the right people and really just, make, shine bright for those to see. And it's easier said than done, but I'm there, and that's how I feel inside 100%.
But you're passionate, and your stick-to-itiveness is amazing. I can see that. Is your fourth grade teacher still with us?
No, I know she's not. She's
not. Okay. Because I was going to say, if she was, I would ask if you keep in touch with her to tell her what you're doing. I mean, sometimes every now and then I'll see a teacher. I mean, it's funny. It's hard to believe, but it was 56 years ago today that I finished first grade. So most of my teachers that I had as a young kid have moved on, but some are still out there. I think some of the younger ones, and I wouldn't mind connecting with some of them. And I still have I have one of my favorite teachers from my 7th grade social science class is a Facebook friend. He was my teacher over 50 years ago at my junior high school. So there's nothing wrong with, talking to the teachers that inspired you as you grew up. I think that's a wonderful thing. So are you booking shows now as well at comedy clubs currently as well, in addition to the film, or is it just the film right now that you're working on?
So the last place I was at was the Comic Strip. I didn't do a show there. I want to be clear. Like, I don't want to say that I've done something that I haven't, but I don't know if you know on the Upper East Side, there's a place over there. Chris Rock started his career by folding chairs over there. It's very Jerry Seinfeld goes in and out of there. It's called the Comic Strip. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's in New York, obviously.
It's in New York. It's on the Upper East Side Club.
Like where you are. Okay.
Right.
Sweet.
So it's a good place that I can go. And, but I I went I kind of I put it on hiatus at the moment, but
Okay.
I did do I started doing some warm-up work. I don't know what it's called exactly, warm-up work over there to hope to get a show over there. But
Like an open mic thing.
yeah, it was like an open mic for comics only. It was like me in a room of 20 guys. I was the only female comic. It was fun, but I
Okay.
did it once and then I
I
didn't
wouldn't
go
mind
back.
being the only guy with a bunch of girls, so I know what that's like. Okay.
Yeah. But no, it was it was, we shook hands at the end. It was all in fair play. Like I didn't feel uncomfortable at all, but I just know that my routine right now, it went from F this, F that, to so many F bombs to
Yep.
a little like Mary Poppins. Like I have to find, I went too far, too goody. I have to right now work on an act that's really like in the middle where, I don't have any problem with swearing, but it's got to be effective. Like if you drop an F bomb, drop it and make it effective. Don't drop it just to drop it.
Well,
It
of
then
course.
becomes effective. Then it's useless. So I'm still where I have my material right now. I'm like I'm struggling to find humor that's going to be relevant to anything besides COVID, because they're all good COVID. Everyone's talking about COVID when I was up there, COVID. But I want to raise the bar. I want to say, okay, enough. Don't, you're not going to shut us up. We're allowed to speak, because I think a lot of us got full of we're fear, like not we, I'm not saying that, but some of us are more aware of what we're saying up there because of the past things in the press and the way that the government is trying to, in my opinion, keep us all quiet. And that's just not right. We should be able to go up there and say what we want. We're not there to offend people. We're there to make people laugh. That's our job, So I'm
Absolutely
working
right.
on it. Yeah, I'm
I
working
can't
on
think
an
of a better
act.
country to do it in though than this one.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything in music at all? I remember you just mentioned that you learned how to sing and dance. Or dancing is currently either or any of that stuff.
I did my first musical, but I haven't done a musical since. Oh, this is what I want to say. I'm very proud of. So this I have to work on. I work in progress is my music, because I got my equity card this year, and I don't know if anyone's listening who knows how big that is, because I worked literally, I'm talking about 20 years towards that card, and I didn't stop.
That's for theater, right?
Yeah, this is a theater union.
Yeah,
It's for,
okay. It's almost like the theatrical equivalent of SAG, isn't it?
correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
guess what, Kathleen? We're finally down to the final 5 minutes of the show.
Okay.
And we made it go by, and I hope we covered as much. And we're gonna look at that clip of yours. We looked at that clip. It was great. I hope we covered as much about you as we could cover. I try to be as thorough with everybody as I can when I interview them in the time we have. So what I want you to do is to look at your screen, like I said at the beginning, give shouts out to people that are gonna see the show, just condense them. And then we'll wrap the show up as a way we began it with my music and snapping, if you like, if you want to go.
Oh,
on.
okay. Sure. Yeah. Let's see if I can shout out people like anyone who's watching. I'm sorry. Maybe Albergo's watching. He's a great dear friend of mine. My son, Nicholas, is wonderful. For all the people that are actually watching from my past, from college, Margaret or Holly I love, this is really important for me that I reach out to anyone, Hollywood, anyone from college, from Keene University who might be watching. I mentioned actually Arthur Reel was a big mentor of mine who passed away. He was with Drama Committee Repertory Theater. I went to HB Studio. So if Alexei Barago is watching, I adore you. You are one of my greatest famous Russian directors who I studied. I studied Moscow Art Theater at Columbia University, but I studied under him at HB Studio. So I want to just say thank you. Literally any of my friends on Facebook that's watching, I just want to thank you. I adore you. And I really appreciate your support. I'm still going strong. So
Okay, you did a great job. I hope you had fun.
I had a great time. Thank you, Harrison. I appreciate it. Appreciate
All right,
having me
listen,
on.
Kathleen, if it's all right, we're gonna end the broadcast in a minute or so. Would you mind sticking around and doing pictures for Facebook that we can share to let people know you were here with me, or you were there and I was here, but we were together?
That sounds great. We have to show what we did. We have to have proof, right?
That's exactly right. All right, folks, thanks for watching Topic Time. More great episodes to follow. See you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.